And this one's by Austin John Plays. Austin John Plays. Let's get into it.
What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and today we have a whole bunch of brand new official information for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There was an event that several members of the press, YouTubers, and gamers were invited to. I was not one of the fortunate few who got to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet early. So, I decided that I was going to review all of the videos, including half-hour interviews, hour-long discussions, and literally every piece of media that's been out since 9 a.m. today.
Yo!
For all of this information.
Sir Quagsire!
There's a lot of fun little nuggets
3-month
that
anniversary!
we're going over. I'm going to be quoting exact people.
Let's go, Sir Quagsire. Thank you so much for the 3 months.
Games.
I appreciate it.
If any of it is untrue,
happy 3-month anniversary.
Don't look at me, all right? And if you think that this video is going to be full of a bunch of information you already
Iconic
know,
Mori, thank you
there's
to follow.
18 badges in the game.
18 badges.
Your attention now? Cool. While many of these people did say the same things, I am going to be focusing on specific details that are going to be
everyone that caught the
some
rufflet.
stuff that you don't know, some stuff that I didn't know, and some stuff that I'm excited to learn. First, we're going to be starting with Casey from IGN. Casey is essentially the go-to person that IGN has to do all these things. She did a significant amount of coverage for Pokemon's Sword and Shield DLC, if I recall correctly. She's a fantastic journalist, and they put out a 5-minute video, and here are some details from that. Firstly, let's talk about the most important thing, sandwiches. Between all of the videos that I've seen, there's mixed feelings about the sandwiches.
Casey?
Some people see it as being more of a nuisance. Some people view it as a fun mini game. I'm sure that, you know, us as gamers, we're going to have the same polarity of opinion on that. But when it came to the sandwiches, Casey felt as though she didn't want to do it a lot if it wasn't for the really good buffs. The buffs that we've seen are similar to the O powers from X and Y. However, there's more being discovered from the small amount of footage that we have, and we can only wait to see exactly what's going to be happening going forward. Casey has also confirmed that experience share is going to be on for the entire party all of the time. And when you're doing auto battles are going to be giving much less experience points than regular traditional battles versus trainer battles.
Interesting.
And auto battles are essentially used for
A-Drive
materials from various Pokemon.
A-Drive was saying,
when exploring out in the world, there are going to be many NPC trainers.
I think A-Drive was recommending most people do the auto battles, and this guy's saying to manual battle for more experience.
This makes a lot of sense considering, you know, it's an open world game. You could literally just go around or over that trainer and their field of view. So the fact that you get to choose if you initiate the battle with them, it seems honestly just to make a lot of sense. It's going to be very easy to spot. They're going to have a very large exclamation mark
for material gatherings,
as well as I've seen small
gotcha.
Like, hey,
that makes more sense, Pink Jedi. So A-Drive was saying to
only going to be one Pokemon
to do them just to collect stuff.
When going into the Team Star compounds to do, you know, their whole quest thing, you are going to be throwing out 3 Pokemon of your choice. You can only enter the compound with 3 Pokemon for this, you know, sort of mini game. For this demonstration, all of the reviewers were actually given an overpowered team for this area, which they were able to go through the minigame no problem. However, when they battled the boss of Team Star's fire crew, Mila, her ace Pokemon, which they did not state what it is, most likely a Pokemon that has not been officially revealed, is extremely powerful and for most people said wiped out more than half of their team with ease. Alex from Nintendo Life put out a 25-minute
We'll figure out the extension here in a bit, guys.
Discussed many specific things about the game in more of a personal monologue with B-roll cuts. Alex went on to discuss a lot about the performance of the game, which not many people did. Some people mentioned it here and there. Some people stated that the performance of the game wasn't great, but it was a fun game. If you don't follow me on Twitter, what's wrong with you? But also, if you don't follow me on Twitter,
it looks like it disappeared for everybody.
This tweet including a side-by-side of a Japanese trailer and the US trailer, specifically about the performance of the game and how the Sunflora move. You can see that in the English version on the left, they move extremely choppy, and on the Japanese version on the right, extremely smooth. Now, this game is developed in Japan by people who are Japanese, so it makes sense that the most recent and up-to-date build is going to be the Japanese version. And there are certain points of progress that then get sent out to the American team for the American translations. And then they probably update from there. I don't know the specifics. I don't make video games. But it seems like all of the reviewers were playing this out-of-date American version that has this horrible performance of Sunflora. This is also seen in the large windmill when entering that town. He also lets us know a fun bit of information that the open world is an open world. However, all of the towns and cities are their own specific map, where performance was significantly, where performance of these smaller maps seemed to be much better. There is a loading screen between the open world field area and the specific towns. In addition to that, the gym battle was its own separate map.
Looks like it's back for me too.
He also states that the problem that was present with Zacian and Zamazenta in Pokemon Sword and Shield, when it moves around, when it turns around, how the model just turns around instead of, you know, actually walking like a dog in a circle or a wolf, that issue does remain present in these games. Why? I don't know. They obviously can, you know, pathfind it to make a circle. Alex then goes on to talk about the user interface and the quality of life changes that we saw implemented in Pokemon Legends Arceus regarding things like the experience bar. When gaining multiple levels, instead of it going whoop, 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 it just does the one thing and then the additional bit, and it tells you all the levels that it gained or all the experience that it gained. It just goes up those levels. I don't know exactly who stated it, but we do know that you can relearn moves from the interface. You no longer have to go to a specific person to learn those moves. As far as trainer customization, there are 4 uniforms, one for each of the 4 seasons. However, there's a plethora of different accessories and many hairstyles to choose from. You can customize your character, change hairstyle, eyes, things like that, as well as the accessories for the characters anytime you want. It's literally a D-pad mapping. However, to change the color of the hair, you have to go to the salons, like here. He also stated that the salons are suspiciously similar to the layouts in Sword and Shield. Also, some great news is that there is no hairstyles or clothing accessories that are locked to appearance, gender. So at the beginning of the game, while no one has seen the beginning of the game, we could assume that they're continuing the trope of choose your appearance, and there's going to be 8 different models to choose from of different skin tones and different leaning toward a specific gender. However, when it comes to hairstyling, you could have, you know, longer, more feminine, flowy looking hair on a male appearing character. While they're not using these terms, I'm just using these to describe these a little bit more. The GameSpot video done by Lucy James and Steve Watts was a 10-minute video that actually covered some things that no one else has. There was one thing that I wanted to talk about, which is, stealth attack. So there are several ways to initiate battle with a Pokemon. They run into you, you run into them, or you catch them off guard. If you were to think of Pokemon Legends Arceus's
get a higher catch rate catching them off guard,
something
right?
Similar to that to initiate a battle. You would then go into the battle, and the first turn of the opposing Pokemon, they are unable to move. They're caught off guard or flinched or something like that. So it does seem as though while you can't catch Pokemon in the overworld like you could in Pokemon Legends Arceus, you are going to be able to still have that sort of advantage when going into a battle with one of these wild Pokemon. Lucy then goes on to explain that she wanted to pursue the path of legends. That's when you have to go around and follow Cloth. So she went into follow Cloth, who once you enter the canyon,
that's the Titan Pokemon.
Hey, there's a giant Cloth here. And then she went, battled Cloth ran off. And then she followed,
you gotta keep chasing
it down again. She battled it again. It ran off to outside of the area.
Oh, so it's not just one single battle
during this demo.
It's like an actual long quest.
By the staff there to not pursue it anymore. It does seem as though these Pokemon, these Titans, are going to be reoccurring things, and they're going to go in various areas. So it's not just a quick one and done. For Game Explain, Triss
might not be able to catch it first time.
Saying 20+ new details, which was a quick rapid-fire video. One of the things that they talked about here, which then they echoed in their "We played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for over an hour, 33-minute video. I've watched both of these." We've seen players' idle animations react to certain weather conditions in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like if it's raining, you see the...
I think so, Sweaty Gamer Games. What's up, Zepcrom? Good to see you, bud.
However, now your following Pokemon will react. Triss claims that while they were playing their Giraffarigs evolution, their Farigiraf, who was their following Pokemon, when it started raining, started running in circles, almost like it was happy that it was raining, like you would see a dog, you know, running in mud or whatever. They also stated that the NPCs also seemed to react to this. When it started raining, you would see the various NPCs who were walking around in the area cover their head and go to cover. This is actually a pretty neat thing that I didn't expect them to do, because in a lot of games, that's not a thing. If it's raining, it's just raining and they just stand there and deal with it. However, in the discussion video, Triss also explains that while doing the Team Star Fire hideout, their Farigiraf had trouble pathfinding during the Let's Go feature and started running in circles again. So at this point, I do not know if your following Pokemon is actually properly reacting to the weather, or if that's just one of the animations that that Pokemon does. They also spent a good amount of time talking about the sandwich minigame, which Triss personally enjoyed. Building a sandwich, it's mandatory that it does not fall apart. In addition, once an ingredient is dropped onto the sandwich, it cannot be picked up again. Think of it like a reverse crane game.
You gotta place it properly.
Ingredients. We do not know the penalty for having the ingredients not stay on the sandwich itself. Maybe it's just whatever.
Increased spawn rate. Sandwiches increase spawn rates, which would be pretty huge for shiny hunting.
They do spend a good amount of time talking about how the trailers that we've seen previously, as I suspected and alluded to, were very selective trailers that had a lot of things removed from the environment so they could focus on whatever one thing they wanted to show you, like the one Terra Jigglypuff that they had in that one trailer. That is not how the actual game executes. Instead, there is a plethora of wild Pokemon everywhere. Good Vibes Games went on to talk about several details in their 7-minute video that
I'm not sure, Zekrom. I might have to wait till the game comes out.
Specifically, they talk about how the Let's Go Battle feature will not be able to tell the difference between a regular Pokemon and a shiny Pokemon, according to the Nintendo representative who was there with them. However, a Let's Go Battle Pokemon will not engage in a battle with a special Terra Pokemon. Those are the ones that we've seen glowing in the trailers, like the Jigglypuff I mentioned before. Milo, the boss of Team Star's Fire Crew, after she's defeated, is going to hand you a badge. One of 18 badges in the game. There are 8 badges that are going to be given out by the gym leaders, and 10 additional badges between the 2 other quest lines, the Path of Legends and the Team Star Battle quest line that I forgot the name right now. There's no specific word what collecting all 18 badges does, or if the 10 badges from the 2 other quest lines are at all related to the sort of championship league or the regular Pokemon gyms. We don't know. That's just brand new information.
I'm surprised there's 18 gyms though.
Only person who talked about it.
I think I've only seen like
this review session also
8 buildings for
doing
gyms.
A Terra Raid Den. There are predetermined text prompts that you can share with your teammates in Terra Dens to coordinate with each other, which I think is fantastic because there's no voice chat or anything, and sometimes you're just going to be in a random battle and someone may say a specific thing that can, you know, lead the flow of that entire battle. Also, a representative of Nintendo stated that the AI for the game, whenever you're playing with NPCs, is significantly better than it was in Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is quite a relief because Cosmic Power Lunatone was not helping anyone. Maheen and Sam had a discussion video on the channel Games Radar that discussed some specifics about this game in sort of an interview style questionnaire that was about 15 minutes in length. Of this, there was one specific piece of information that I found extremely helpful, that while doing a Terra Raid battle, you have to use 3 attacks before you can actually terrestrialize. However, during regular battles, gym matches, stuff like that, you can do it turn 1. In the Terra Raid Dens, you have to wait until 3 attacks are done. They did not specify if it was 3 attacks by you, meaning like you do an attack.
I think it's probably got to be one attack by 3 different people, right?
Does an attack, and then you can Terra. No specifics about that.
Should we send you?
Or
Thank you for the follow.
if it's 3 people of the 4.
Good luck, guys. We got a per ugly. Per ugly in chat. Weekly mission mon.
After 3
normal type. This one will count for your normal type catches. Good luck, everybody.
No one specifically spoke on this.
Trade tier B normal type. Total base stats 452 if you're trying to catch it. Recommend Great Ball. Good luck.
All 4 of them are going to have the same Terra type. So I'm assuming, and you know what happens when you assume, that after the 3 rounds of battle,
Terra type.
you can then coordinate amongst yourselves to determine who is going to terrestrialize. So all 4 of the Pokemon are going to be getting
like Dynamaxing raids?
Which sounds very
Only one person gets the Dynamax?
Going into a Terra raid den, you don't know what Terra type you're going to be facing down. It's handy to have a variety of them. Games Radar also went on to give us an additional detail about sandwich making that we have not heard anywhere else. It turns out that the food that you eat is going to impact the wild Pokemon encounters, meaning that the types of Pokemon that you're going to be encountering, as well as the size of Pokemon. In my previous video, I was looking at this screen that had
sandwiches
all of the
determine
types of meals on here that you can
the
cook.
type of
and
Pokemon
one of them said teensy
and
power. That actually means
and
that
the size.
Pokemon in the overworld
That's
that
very
you're going to be
interesting.
battling
Kind
are
of like
going to be
alpha Pokemon.
smaller versions of
What's
their
up, Zeke?
default
How are you?
size. Similar
Good
to
to
how
see
we
you,
saw
bud.
in Pokemon Legends Arceus, how Pokemon have a range of sizes that they can be before being, you know, the full alpha Pokemon. It seems like that implementation is going to be carried over in this game. And you're going to have some influence on it as well. This is a really good thing in case you have to find yourself a big Buizel, that's for sure. Washington Post Gaming put out a 5-minute, 48-second unnarrated video showing off the specific gameplay clips they got from the Pokemon Company. There was no new information in this video. I just wanted to shout them out.
Appreciate it. Hope all's well with you too, buddy.
This with the full audio, and a lot of people cut out the audio. I don't know why. And I say Philly Beats use video for last, since in my last video I recommended that you go watch it because he did a fantastic job. There are some specific things that I wanted to talk about. The Path of Titans lets you encounter the Titans, and you can do them in any order. He's the only person to state this information. In fact, I feel like Phil asked a lot of really premium questions to the Nintendo rep. He also stated that there is an in-game time that goes between a full day-night cycle. However, unlike Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's not locked to your Switch's clock. Instead, it's going to be a naturally occurring in-game timer, similar to how we've seen in Pokemon Legends Arceus as well as Breath of the Wild. He was not able to find anything that could skip time or let you impact a specific time of day to play, but once again, they only played a very small portion of the game. Phil also stated that while he was playing, he saw Pokemon families present, meaning that if you saw a Growlithe, there's a chance that there's an Arcanine nearby. In addition, Pokemon pairings as well. Right here, we could see Zangoose and Seviper, who are known to be rivals, hanging out with one another, or engaging with one another. That was unclear. I assume things like this would also be present for Miltank and Tauros. We haven't seen Tauros in the game. The bull Pokemon taking place in Spain. There's probably something going on about that, no official word, but there's a good chance we would probably see Tauros hanging out with Miltank. Even though they're from different generations, they've always been considered a pairing, even back in Sun and Moon where they shared a Pokedex entry page. As far as auto battles, the 2 most important things that are taken into account are your Pokemon level versus the opposing Pokemon level and type matchup. It seems as though having attacking moves is not mandatory for auto battle leveling, so in theory, if you, I don't know, started the game with only a Magikarp or one of the other Pokemon that doesn't have any attacking moves, you could actually level it up by doing auto battles and not having to, you know, do Splash 35 times, then struggle. Phil was also the only person to mention the drops that happen
to level up a Magikarp. Just have it do auto battle.
We've seen before, there are specific drops.
Yo, that's clowning.
Family,
instead of having to do Splash like a bunch of times.
Not him. However,
just auto battle the
Magikarp.
Magikarp.
Which now makes me wonder, why did he find an Everstone? He did not state the Pokemon that it dropped from. Probably for very obvious reasons, because we can't talk about Pokemon that aren't officially revealed. But I have a theory that this auto battle mechanic may have a chance for you to obtain a wild held item. You may be familiar with the concept of wild held items if you played Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl and you tried to get yourself a Magmarizer or an Electrolyzer from Elekid and Magby in the Grand Underground. Or if you ever try to find leftovers, you're always hunting down a Munchlax who may hold it. These Pokemon always have a chance of holding these items, and I'm thinking that maybe there's an auto battle chance that when knocking out this Pokemon, you may get their held item. If they are holding it. We have to see specifically
held
how
items.
This works, if it goes off of the original numbers that we've always seen, or if they've been changed around, or if you're guaranteed.
I wouldn't mind if they changed it around, to be honest.
Is knocked out. Kind of interested to see.
I wouldn't mind if they changed it around.
Much easier way for you to farm items instead of having to have a Pokemon with Frisk or Trick or something like that. Phil also stated that the Jigglypuff that we saw in previous video clips is not just standing in one place, not moving, as we've already learned.
Oh, it actually roams around.
Build of a game.
This clip made it look like it just stands still, and you're like, oh, I can walk over there.
In the build that they played, this Jigglypuff was walking around, as well as the other Terra enhanced Pokemon who are walking around. They are supposedly a wide range of levels and maybe a significantly higher level than the other Pokemon in the area and pose a challenge for you. No one was able to state these Pokemon, if after you defeat them, which isn't easy, if you can catch them, or if there's some sort of mechanic that would allow you to not catch a level 50 Pokemon.
Team Ghost all the way, Zeke.
If you are able to take it down. Think
Team
of
Ghost all the way.
Strong-looking Pokemon.
Or not Team Ghost, sorry, Team Dark.
If you picked Grookey, there was a chance that you were able to take down that
Team
Onix,
Ghost going
which
down.
I did do, and I still was unable to catch it. Or if there's an unstated system in place, for example in Pokemon Legends Arceus, if you were to be in the first area and completely over level yourself like I did. I was on level.
I'm sorry to hear that, Lighthouse. I hope you feel better soon, buddy.
The Frenzy Noble Cleaver.
Sending much love your way, dude.
I still was unable to catch the Alakazam and Blissey in that area because there was
the event's gonna go until November 1st, so you'll have time, man. You'll have time.
Alpha Pokemon.
This one isn't like the normal ones.
Status. Phil also got information from a Nintendo representative that when a Pokemon terastallizes, they are going to be keeping their original same type attack bonus. This is brand new information and honestly seems a little out of place. For example, Ceruledge over here is a fire and ghost type, but if he terastallizes into a fire type, you would then think that he loses his stab of a ghost attack, but according to that Nintendo representative, that is not true. So Pikachu, who terastallizes to a flying type, is still going to be retaining the same type attack bonus for its electric-based moves. However, it's no longer electric type, and it's not affected doubly by ground moves.
I might put it on Obstagoon.
This seems really out of place and a little weird. I don't know if that's accurate information from that Nintendo employee, but if it is, pretty useful. And the one last little bit of information from Philly Beatsy's video is that the red vending machines inside of the Team Star compound are there in place for you to help heal your Pokemon.
Oh, like a Poke Center
battle that you're going to be encountering.
Oh, it's like a portable Poke Center, the vending machines.
Information that I was able to find from every single source.
Interesting. Okay, so the portable machines at Team Star locations are like little mini Poke Centers vending machines. That is cool. That way you don't have to walk all the way outside Team Star to heal your Pokemon and go find like a Pokestop. I like that. I like that a lot. That's nice. That's nice they did that. Okay, that makes sense.